AI governance. For the longest time, this was a topic you'd hear about in the IT department, right? Tucked away? Well, not anymore. Today, it's a critical executive priority. So we're going to dive into why getting this right is no longer just about avoiding risk, it's about getting a serious competitive advantage.
78%. Just let that number sink in for a second. That's how many organizations were using AI in 2024. This isn't a slow creep, it's an explosion. And it means that more of our business decisions, day in and day out, are being shaped by algorithms than ever before. But here's where things get, well, a little scary. While you have almost 8 out of 10 companies jumping on the AI train, a recent survey found that only a quarter of them, just 25%, have a fully baked governance program. And that massive gap you see on the screen, that space between adoption and oversight, that is creating a huge and often totally invisible risk.
So that gap, it just begs the question, right? When you've got these incredibly powerful tools running loose without strong guardrails, what are the actual, real-world consequences? The thing is, we don't even have to imagine. The failures are already happening out in the open.
Take Amazon. They famously had to scrap an AI recruiting tool after realizing it was biased against women. It just wasn't recommending them for jobs. We've seen credit models that accidentally discriminate against people, and chatbots that have gone completely off the rails, damaging a brand's reputation literally overnight. These are not hypothetical what-ifs. These are real-world failures with massive consequences.
And you can bet regulators have noticed. There is a storm brewing, and it's being led by big pieces of legislation like Europe's EU AI Act. But just look at the scale of these penalties. We're not talking about a slap on the wrist. We're talking about potential fines of up to 30 million euros, or 6% of your company's global turnover. All of a sudden, governance isn't just a nice-to-have best practice, it's a do-it-now-or-else imperative. Okay, so with stakes that high, how in the world do you navigate all this chaos? Well, thankfully, we're not starting from square one. A global standard has actually emerged to give us a clear blueprint for getting AI under control. It's called ISO/IEC 42001. And this is a big deal. It's the world's first ever global AI governance standard. Now, the easiest way to wrap your head around it is to think of it like this. What ISO 27001 is for information security, the standard everyone knows, well, this is the new equivalent for AI. It's a structured, certifiable way to prove that you're managing your AI responsibly. So what's actually in this rulebook? Well, it creates this really comprehensive framework that covers 5 crucial areas. It all starts with the foundations, ethics and transparency. From there, it moves into systematic risk management and making sure there's clear accountability and oversight. Then it ensures your systems are actually robust and secure, and the whole thing rests on a solid foundation of strong data governance. Now, having a standard like that is a huge step. It's fantastic. But let's be real. True, effective governance isn't just about a piece of paper you file away. It's a living, breathing capability that's built on 3 absolutely essential pillars. First, and maybe most importantly, it's about people. Governance just falls apart without clear ownership. This means you need defined roles, like an AI ethics officer. It means creating committees that bring in people from legal, from HR, from across the business. And it's about building a culture where everyone understands their part in using AI safely. The second pillar is process. Look, strong governance isn't a one-time check you tick off a list. It has to be woven into every single stage of an AI system's life, from the very first idea and the data you pick, all the way through to deployment, monitoring, and even when you eventually retire the system. This means building in critical checkpoints, like bias audits and ethical impact assessments.
And the third pillar, of course, is technology. This is the enabler, the engine that makes the first 2 pillars actually work. You absolutely need the right tools to automate your rules, to monitor your models, to see if they're drifting or becoming biased, and to enforce your policies consistently, especially when you're operating at a huge scale.
And this chart right here really tells the story, doesn't it? When you ask organizations what their biggest hurdles are, look at what's at the bottom of the list. Technology. The top issues are all cultural. A lack of clear ownership is the biggest one, followed by not enough expertise and limited resources. The key takeaway here is pretty clear. You have to get the people and the process right first. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the scary stuff, the risks, the fines, but now I want to completely flip the script. because the most forward-thinking companies out there are realizing that good governance isn't a burden. It's actually a powerful strategic advantage. It's about turning those guardrails into accelerators.
And this is where that technology pillar we talked about becomes your secret weapon. A modern governance tech stack has tools like data catalogs so you can actually see what data you have. It has unified platforms so you can trace a model's decisions from end to end. It has monitoring tools for accountability, and MLOps for discipline control over the entire life cycle. Together, these tools form the engine for innovating responsibly.
When you boil it all down, it really comes to this. Every leader, every company is standing at a fork in the road. On one side, you've got the future of ungoverned AI, and that path is littered with regulatory fines, reputational damage, and ultimately strategic failure. But on the other side, a future with strong governance that leads to customer trust, innovation with confidence, and a real, sustainable competitive advantage.
So let's really dig into what that payoff looks like in practice. Good governance lets you build deep, lasting trust with your customers, your partners, and even the regulators. It helps you manage risk proactively, which makes your entire operation more resilient. And here's the counterintuitive part. It actually helps you innovate faster because it gives your teams the psychological safety they need to experiment. And maybe most importantly, it makes sure that the AI you build is a true reflection of your company's core values.
I love this quote because it just nails the entire concept. So many people get this wrong. Governance isn't about putting the brakes on innovation. It's about installing headlights and guardrails so you can see where you're going and drive faster and smarter.
So I'll leave you with this one question to take back to your own organization. Right now, today, as it stands, is your AI a well-governed strategic asset that's driving you forward, or is it an unchecked liability just waiting to cause a problem? The choice of which future you want to build, well, that's up to you.